Hey, what's up everybody? So today is finally time for me to give my final verdict for ASUS's brand new ultra-wide monitor, their PG35VQ, which is on my desk here and which I've been using for about a month or so. So what better time to actually do the review, right? So I'm gonna be giving my all kinds of thoughts about, all the positive things that I found and some of the negative things. So if you're interested in that, stick around. But at the moment, take a little closer peek at the monitor and then I'm gonna talk a lot more about it. So now that you've seen the monitor a little bit closer, and I mean the design, again, like ROG is doing such a beautiful job, such a good job on the design department, and of course the technology department. What they're bringing on the table, on my table, is something absolutely breathtaking. So where to start? So it is 35 inches ultra wide. It is using 21:9 aspect ratio, right? And it does have 200 Hz overclockable, 180 without overclocking. It does have G-Sync, HDR 1000, and uses quantum dot display running at 2 millisecond response time with full array local dimming, aka FOLD. And also another thing to mention here, it does have smart fan technology. So the last fan monitor that I tested was ASUS's 4K 144Hz Beast, right? And it had a really loud fan inside of it. And when I checked around the internets, right, I found out that a lot of these 4K 144Hz screens have fans in them. I guess it's to do with something to do with HDR added to on top of that, or even FOLD added on top of them. But anyway, that monitor had a really loud fan in it, and this monitor also has a cooling fan in it. But ASUS has further improved upon the technology, and this here is a smart fan. So it's actually, if I compare it, it's like at least 2 to 3 times more quieter than it was in the previous ROG monitor. So I mean, it's pretty much unheardable. It's not totally silent. I can still hear it a little bit, but I can actually use it as my everyday monitor. Whenever I build a PC, the first thing that I really wanna hit upon is almost 0 decibels, right? I don't want to have any noise from any kind of fan in my household. So ASUS have further improved upon the fan technology, right? And now the fan shoots for ideal temperatures while at the same time keeping the fan noise really low. Right, so here is a quick audio test of how loud the fan is on this PG35VQ. And yeah, I'm gonna take my Rode mic and set it next to the fan there. So take a listen. So overall, I mean, you can hear it still, and it's still like kind of like rotates higher and lower in RPM, right? But it's definitely not as loud as it was before. So definitely an improvement, but I still want them gone. This fan here is a smart fan, so it tries to have the most ideal temperatures while at the same time, having this fan speed as low as possible, and I can vouch for that. This fan is at least like 2 to 3 times more quiet than in previous ASUS monitors. So I mean, I can finally sit behind my PC and not, notice the fan. Now, it doesn't mean that I can't hear the fan at all. I can definitely hear it, but it is so quiet that it shouldn't bother almost anybody now. So that's a really great job there. Although, you know, in future I really want, you know, monitors do not have any fans. So there's definitely some work to do here, but I really love what ASUS has done right now. So just the next revision of monitors already has this smart fan technology, which is really great. So we can finally sit behind our PCs in full quietness if we wish to do so. And also I guess I could mention that this monitor has a proper hi-fi headphone amplifier built into the monitor, which, you know, should give you a little bit better audio quality when, you know, connecting your headphones to the monitor. But yeah, so overall, what has been my full experience with this monitor after using it for a month or so? So first of all, what I noticed is the upgraded resolution. So when comparing it to the XG39VQ, which is the super ultra wide, right? That had a resolution of 3840 x 1080, which is a pretty low resolution vertically. So I definitely felt a lot of lack of height on that monitor. But this monitor here has a resolution of 3440 x 1440. And what this does is get us a little bit more height in resolution, and that makes a world of a difference when, you know, editing videos or just browsing the web or doing, you know, everyday work, right? It's just so much better on a little bit higher resolution than 1080. And yeah, even in games you actually notice the extra sharpness, plus on top of that we don't notice any pixels when, you know, sitting pretty close by to the monitor, while with the XG39VQ I did notice pixels well, at the same distance from the monitor, right? Which was, yeah, I really didn't enjoy the XG49, mostly because of the low resolution. But anyway, this one is a little bit fixed here and is a little bit bigger and works really great. Now on top of that, it does have 180 to 200 Hz, which is absolutely amazing. I never actually use over 180 Hz here. We can overclock this monitor to 200 Hz, you can definitely use it, no problem. But I didn't feel like I needed that. Like 180 Hz was just totally fine for, you know, gaming and desktop, right? So I mean, I really don't feel any real benefit going over 144 Hz, if you ask me. And I've tried all sorts of, you know, monitors, you know, from, you know, the ye old 60 Hz up to 240 Hz. And I'd say, yeah, over 144 Hz you wouldn't really notice any real difference. Maybe some people, but definitely not me. And yeah, on top of that nice little hertz, we do find that this monitor has a quantum dot display, right? So we get really nice colors out of it, and it does have just 2 millisecond response time. So I mean, you can get a TN panel with very flat colors, right? Or get great colors at 2 milliseconds. I mean, it's just, who would want to get a TN panel nowadays, right? So 2 milliseconds is absolutely amazing. And it does have G-Sync as well, so we get further clearer image, and yeah, playing at really high refresh rates, it definitely helps to have G-Sync as well, if you have, of course, an NVIDIA video card, which, you know, almost everybody nowadays have. Definitely those people who actually buy this monitor, I would like to presume. But yeah, so those features all together, I mean, games themselves were just absolutely amazing. Now there was a little issue with my favorite game and with some other games that are really popular, like Counter-Strike, right? But of course my own favorite, Path of Exile. And with Path of Exile, it's something to do with the game, right? It doesn't really allow you to click outside of 16:9 range, right? So you can see extra, right? But your mouse cannot click over there. You cannot do actions over on the left and far left and right side of the screen, which was kind of alarming at first. But after playing, you know, a month or so and having no issues at all, I absolutely enjoyed playing my favorite game on it, which is an action RPG game called Path of Exile, right? And I never felt like being in a situation where I needed to click and nothing happened and I died or something like that, right? So my mouse always, you know, kind of stick to the 16:9 range, and those extra screens that I have, the extra space that I have on the left and right side is just extra cookie cutter, right? So I can just see further down the line and just move better in that direction, and you know, get a better visual what's up ahead, right? So that's how it worked in my favorite game. Yes, you cannot click on the far outer edges of the screen, but it never was an issue, never had a problem with that. And other games like Counter-Strike, right? The thing is that the game is locked to a 16:9 ratio just because it is a competitive game. And I guess this is to do with all sorts of competitive games, that you are locked into a 16:9 range, so it wouldn't, you know, make it a pay to win. So if you can get a ultra wide, right, you can see more, and that would make it like a pay to win game in certain aspects, right? If you understand. So locking it into 16:9 and having a 3440 x 1440 resolution makes it so that, you know, the outer edges of the screen look like kind of like zoomed in stuff. So it's kind of weird to explain here, but this is the case with a lot of, you know, competitive games, at least first-person shooters. Now coming to some third-person games and, you know, racing games, those were absolutely amazing. I mean, seeing extra in a car, you know, racing, or being in the bonnet view, right, the hood view, right, or, you know, on the outside view, you see so much more, right? And in third-person games like Tom Clancy's Division do, I mean, it's absolutely amazing to have a proper ultra-wide monitor. You see so much more. It's much harder for enemies to flank you, and yeah, it was just an insanely good experience. And this monitor has HDR 1000 support, so you can get the best HDR picture that is pretty much out there on this ultra wide monitor, right? And it's supported by Fold technology, so full array local dimming, which is an amazing piece of technology. And I'm so glad that we finally found something to work towards upon to reach those OLED black levels. Now, don't get me wrong, Fold is absolutely amazing piece of technology because it actually makes the whole screen almost as black as an OLED screen, if not the same as an OLED screen. If we could fix this light bleed issue that happens with a small object like a mouse cursor, right? If we can fix that in the future, this will be finally something to kill off OLED screens. So we're not there yet, but I mean, I can still use it in Windows, right? But it's not the best experience at times. But when I do launch a game up or watch a movie, the blacks are just like on an OLED. Coming to some other quick little things, you know, looking behind the monitor, right? We do find just one HDMI and display board, which was kind of odd. There's a couple of USBs and of course the headphone jack, but yeah, for such a ultra wide monitor, right, just having one HDMI and one DisplayPort seemed kind of odd. And yeah, of course this monitor has low blue light filter technology and flicker-free technology to further, you know, help to lessen the strain on your eyes when doing long gaming sessions, or, you know, just long sessions behind the monitor, right? So that's really neat. And of course, checked out the menu. I mean, there's a lot of features to check around and mess about with. So that's pretty neat. We do find a small little joystick style button to navigate the menu, and yeah, the menu itself is really well thought out and looks really nice, and the menu navigation with the joystick is really simple. And plus we do find some other, you know, neat little features like, you know, having an FPS counter on the screen all the time, or, you know, kinda like cheating, having a crosshair on your screen while a game might not allow it. So it's kind of like cheating. So you can do it with this monitor, but I don't recommend doing it. Play nice, right? But anyway, coming quickly to the design, I mean, ASUS is doing an incredible job time after time with their ROG lineup, right? And this monitor here looks absolutely beautiful, right? It is kind of like bezel-less, right? It doesn't have any bezels on the left, right, and top, right? It does have a small bezel on the bottom. Now the screen doesn't go to the actual edge. This is just LCD screen technology that we still haven't figured out how to get the screen on the very edges of the screen, right? But yeah, overall design looks absolutely great, and it does have ASUS's Aura Sync RGB built into it as well, so there's a nice ROG logo behind the monitor which glows in all sorts of RGB goodness. And of course we do find the ROG logo on the bottom of the screen as well, glowing, which is really nice. And even on top of the monitor stand we do find a small ROG logo that, you know, kind of like glows in the dark, right, onto your wall, but it isn't as powerful as it was with the 4K 144 Hz ROG monitor, which I really like, that you could like project a proper ROG logo, a huge ROG logo on your wall or the ceiling of your room. It definitely sticked out when playing in the dark, right? It's not the case here, and of course the top logo is not RGB enabled, which is kind of odd decision. And oh, almost forgot about the stand. So the stand itself, I mean, is pretty perfect, really sturdy, really nice design, but maybe make the back leg of the stand a little bit shorter, so I could actually push the monitor straight up against my wall or on the edge of the desk, so I could have more space on the desk. At the moment the back leg is a little bit too far stretched out, so kinda limits my room on my desk. But yeah, that's a small little thing that I noticed that I actually don't love about this monitor. But anyway, that's kind of gonna conclude everything that I want to talk about this monitor. So I mean, overall, my final verdict for ASUS's PG35VQ is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. It's the best ultra-wide monitor that there is at the moment out on the store shelves, and I definitely recommend getting it if you like ultra-wides and if you're looking for a proper 35-inch ultra-wide monitor. Now, there are some negative things, right? So, I mean, yeah, the big elephant in the room, it's 2,800 euros. And the closest at similar, you know, it doesn't have the full specs as this monitor, right? But a 35-inch ultra-wide with 144 Hz, they do go around 800 euros or something like that. So, I mean, paying like 3 times as much, I mean, is it worth it? Kinda hard to say, but this monitor is a really great ultra-wide monitor. I mean, I haven't had such a good ultra-wide ever. So this is the first ultra-wide monitor that actually made me love ultra-wide. So yeah, the price is a little bit insane. But other than that, I mean, could have had maybe a couple of HDMI ports, right? And please try somehow remove the fans from the monitor. I don't want to see any fans ever in monitors. I know it's quiet now, that's great, right? But still, it's a fan, which, you know, is a object that wears down over time. And monitors are turned on pretty much all the time, so the fan will be spinning all the time. How long does it last? When it dies, does it die like that? So we have to take open the monitor to make it shut up and maybe switch out the fan. But if we cannot switch out the fan, then what? And stuff like that. I mean, it's a hustle, right? Anyway, yeah, that's gonna conclude my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, and if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll be seeing you soon in another review. So yeah, thanks for watching. Ciao for now.